Let me now return to the three policy objectives I mentioned in the beginning. I'll start with the performance of Indian economy. Economists talk about GDP, growth, inflation, investment, and the fiscal deficit as key economic parameters. Since this government took office, growth has increased and inflation has decreased. Foreign investment is increased and the fiscal deficit has decreased. And despite a slowdown in global trade, the balance of payments deficit has also decreased. Yet, such broad statistics give only a partial picture of what we are attempting and what we are achieving. It is often said, the devil is in the detail. But I believe that God is in the proper execution of many so-called details. It is these so-called details which, when done well, add up to the big picture. You may be interested to know that. And I will mention very few things. India's highest ever urea fertilizer production was achieved in 2015. India's highest ever production of ethanol as blended fuel benefiting sugarcane farmers was in 2015. The highest number of new cooking gas connections to the rural poor was achieved in 2015. India's highest ever output of coal was achieved in 2015. India's highest ever generation of electricity was achieved in 2015. India's highest ever quantity of cargo handled by major ports was in 2015. India's fastest average turnaround time in ports was in 2015. India's highest ever increase in railway capital expenditure was achieved in 2015. India's highest ever number of new highway kilometers awarded was in 2015. India's highest ever production of motor vehicles was achieved in 2015. India's highest ever software export were achieved in 2015. India's highest ever rank in World Bank doing business indicator was achieved in 2015. India's highest ever exchange reserves were achieved in 2015. ये आपको ईटी में कभी पढ़ने को नहीं मिला होगा. अरे तो मैंने थोड़ी झलक दिखाई है, पूरा नहीं दिखाया. When I give these figures, it is important to remember that in the preceding years, many of these indicators were moving in the opposite direction. Not only have many indicators improved, but they have improved by large margins. For example, in 2013-14, the total number of national highway kilometers awarded was about 3,500. This more than double in the first year of this government, not nearly to nearly 8,000 kilometers, an all-time high. This year, we are planning to award 10,000 kilometers. Let me give you more examples of quantum leaps. The Shipping Corporation of India, which made a loss of rupee 275 crores in 2013-14, made a profit of rupee 201 crore in 2014-15. This is a turnaround of rupee 575 crore in one single year. In 2013-14, India accounted for just 0.1% of global demand for energy-efficient LED lighting. In 2015-16, it is 12%. Indian LED bulbs are now the cheapest and most competitive in the world, costing less than $1 versus a global average of $3. In 2013-14, India commissioned 947 megawatts of solar power plants. वैसे इस समय सोलार के लिए कुछ भी बोलना थोड़ा संकट वाला है, क्योंकि हेडलाइन बन जाएगी कि हमने फलाने की आलोचना की. In 2015-16, this will rise to over 2,500 megawatts. It is expected to reach 12,000 megawatts in 2016-17. India's share of the global solar energy market will rise from 2.5% in 2014 to 18% in 2016. India's contribution here is not merely in increasing the share of clean energy. Its other contribution is that the huge increase in scale has enabled producers to cut prices, benefiting the whole world. In 2013-14, 16,800 kilometers of transmission lines were added. In 2014-15, this rose to over 22,000, 2% in 1 year. In the power sector as a whole, the cost of power has declined by over 30%. Let me turn to the second aspect. Improving opportunities. I believe in the politics of empowerment. I believe in empowering the people to improve their own lives. We undertook the world's largest and most successful financial inclusion program. It has brought over 200 million unbanked people into the banking system. In the early days of this program, skeptics felt that these accounts would have no balances. You will be surprised to know that today these accounts have a balance exceeding rupees 30,000 crores or over $4 billion. We have also issued a record number of debit cards to them. India is now one of the few countries where the market share of indigenous credit card brand exceeds 33%. We have introduced a new and comprehensive program of crop insurance. This empowers farmers to give their best, with the state providing cover against risk beyond the farmer's control. We have introduced soil health cards to empower our farmers. The card will tell every farmer the exact character of his soil. This will enable him to increase crop yield, reduce overuse of chemical inputs and fertilizer, and restore soil health. Entrepreneurship is one of India's traditional strengths. It was sad to see it neglected in the last few years. Business and profits had become bad words. We have changed that. We need to value enterprise and hard work, not wealth. Our programs, ranging from Mudra to Startup India and Stand Up India, provide opportunity to the hardworking and to the entrepreneuring. In so doing, we have placed special emphasis on scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, other backward classes, and women. We are empowering them to become masters of their own destinies. Creating opportunities for cities and towns to grow is very crucial. Urban areas are an engine of growth. A key initiative for urban transformation is the Smart City Mission. The mission has several firsts. It is the first time that certain areas in cities will be comprehensively developed in a systematic and qualitative way. These areas will act as lighthouses which will eventually influence the rest of the city. It is the first time that there has been such extensive citizen consultation. Nearly 2.5 million people participated through contests, discussions, polls, blogs, and talks on the MyGov platform. This is a major break from the top-down approach to urban planning. It is the first time that allocation of funds in a government scheme is done not by decisions of ministers or officers, but on the basis of competition. This is a good example of competitive and cooperative federalism. As I mentioned earlier, the role of a government does not end with economy alone. There are many non-economic dimensions which are vital for ensuring the welfare of the citizens. Good governance is crucial. We have taken numerous steps which have transformative potential. We have ended the era of high-level corruption. This is a fact acknowledged by Indians and foreigners and by critics and supporters of this government. This is not an easy achievement. We have ended Political interference and crony capitalism in nationalized banks. We have, for the first time, appointed several heads of public sector banks from the private sector. Transparent auctions have cleaned up the natural resources sector, which was riddled with scandals. Many experts have commented on the need to reduce subsidies. The new universal access to banking through the Jan Dhan Yojana has enabled plugging of huge leakages in subsidies. In developing countries, fuel subsidies are generally very difficult to tackle. We have successfully decontrolled cooking gas prices. We are now operating the world's largest direct benefit transfer scheme for cooking gas. Subsidies are transferred to the bank account of households. Through electronic verification, multiple and bogus connections are eliminated. This enables genuine beneficiaries to get what they deserve while eliminating those who are not eligible. This has substantially reduced the subsidy. Another subsidized fuel is kerosene, used by the poor for cooking and lighting and distributed by state governments. There is clear evidence that a large quantity of subsidized kerosene is misused and diverted. We have begun a pilot in 33 districts where kerosene will be sold at a market prices. The difference between market price and the subsidized price will be transferred directly to bank accounts of those who are poor. The poor will be properly identified through bank accounts and biometric identification through Aadhaar. This will eliminate duplicate, non-eligible and bogus consumers. This elimination will reduce the total subsidy. We have decided that 75% of this saving, 75% of this saving will be passed on the states. Thereby, we have encouraged state governments to implement this in all districts. The experience of Chandigarh shows that this is possible. In April 2014, there were 68,000 beneficiaries of subsidized kerosene in Chandigarh. A campaign was launched to issue gas connection to all eligible families. 10,500 new gas connections were issued. Kerosene quotas were stopped for 42,000 families who already had gas connections. By 31st March 2016, Chandigarh will be declared kerosene-free city. Believe it or not, till date, the saving achieved in kerosene consumption through this initiative is 73%. 2 days ago, at a meeting with chief secretaries of the states, I was reviewing implementation of various pension schemes. I was pleasantly surprised to see that there had been noteworthy reduction in leakage simply by eliminating those who were double counted and who were ineligible. In some states, a reduction of 12% in subsidies has been achieved without any harm to the poor. Another major subsidy is on fertilizers. A substantial quantity of subsidized urea is diverted illegally to use in the production of chemicals. We have introduced a simple but effective technical solution: neem coating of urea. The organic neem coating makes the fertilizer unsuitable for diversion. We have now achieved 100% neem coating in both domestic and imported urea. A significant side benefit has also happened. The collection of neem leaves for urea has become a new income earning opportunity for rural women. I know